What's good, y'all? Welcome to episode 11 of the 4Bs. We got a special guest, another B, Bo Scaife, our very own Mullen High School alum, University of Texas alum, Tennessee Titans alum, too many accolades to name them all, and now the founder, All Pro Farms.
Hey,
Scaife, what's good, baby?
What's up,
What's
man?
up,
Appreciate y'all boys having me.
Welcome.
I'm here with the honorary B today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for being here with us, man.
Welcome to the show. For those of you guys don't know, this is my boy. Went to high school with him. This has been a long time coming. We've been trying to get him on the show. He's wanted to come on the show. We just had to get our shit together before we had him on the show.
Facts on
So,
facts.
welcome to the show. Thank you, big bro.
No problem. Appreciate y'all, man.
So, we want to have you on the show. We want to, for those of you who don't know you, we want to know, put it out there. You know, you went from high school, you went to college, D1 athlete. Now you're running a cannabis business. I mean, you've done so much more. You're getting back to the community. Just if you had to give a couple clips.
Who's Bo Scaife?
Who's Bo Scaife?
Man, that's a nice, tough question out the gate. I think about this shit a lot.
Okay.
You know, I think, life is a journey of discovering who you are. Mm-hmm. And, when as a young dude, you grow up and shit, we all 40 years old now and stuff like that. So, it's evolving. So I just think, Bo Scaife is a solid, I always like to use that word solid, just chill, laid back, good dude that wants to, do a lot in the world, do a lot for people.
Absolutely.
Do a lot for his family.
Right.
Put people on, inspire. And just fulfill, my purpose, while I'm here.
Right.
And, when it's all said and done, I want to be able to look back and just be like, man, I gave it all.
Right. That's
so
it.
For me, and that's what Bo Scaife is. He's a guy that's, getting up, going hard every day, living the right way, making good decisions, and just giving his all every day and, treating people and doing shit the right way.
Right. So what helped you structure that lifestyle to be so disciplined? What helped you get there?
Well, football is always, my foundation, just the principles and the lessons that you learn playing the game of football. Everyone always sees the glitz and the glamour and the big plays and, all that stuff, but they don't see, like, how football develops, individuals and young men and women and stuff. So, football for me, it just laid a foundation of structure, discipline, preparation, work ethic. Just all the things that you need to get up and push forward and push yourself every single day because, life is tough, and it gets heavy. It gets heavy. Every day it gets heavy. We're constantly bombarded with stuff on a daily basis, whether we, you got a job or you run a company or you're a father or mother or just anything. We're always bombarded with stuff and we never know when it's going to hit. So, we just got to be ready and be ready to keep pushing through every day.
That's it. So for young, we got young viewers too. What would you say for somebody that's got to do that heavy lifting right now? We're coming into some adversarial times right now. I think kids are a little bit more delicate in the mindset right now. What would you say for somebody that's kind of going through that?
Prepare yourself, and that's the X factor. Preparation is the X factor. Discipline is the X factor. If you don't got those two things, you're not gonna make it far. Okay. If you got something that you're trying to achieve, a goal or a dream, and you're not willing to get up every day and work for it or pursue it at a high level and, take days off, you're not going to get there. You got to be all in, tunnel vision.
I get it. Because I've seen you go through so much, right? When we were in high school, this is a Parade of All-American player, McDonald's All-American player during that time period. And he was, I think, the best to play the game in Colorado. Right,
a lot of honors in Colorado.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of good people come through here, but man, I've never seen anybody so big. We joke about this, right? Because and he denies it, right? He, you look at him right now, right? He's the same size as when I met him the first time. So I was like, damn.
What grade was that?
This is income. Actually, I scrimmaged against him when I was like in 5th grade, and I thought there was something wrong with him genetically because he was so big.
You thought he was a coach?
Yeah, I thought it was somebody's daddy. It came out on. I did the first time he played. Was it Shamrocks?
Yeah.
They were Shamrocks, and I was like, "Is that somebody's daddy?" Put on some pads. I don't know. We're supposed to be tackling somebody like that. Because I didn't see him again until our freshman year, and I was like, "That's still somebody's daddy." Because I was all of 5'5" my freshman year, and I came in here and he's 6'4", and I'm like, God damn! Like, and he runs just as fast as the senior. Oh, he's faster than the seniors. Huh? What are we supposed to do with that? So, I don't know where I was going with that, but it was like a flashback. But watching him grow up during that phase and that time, right through Mullen and growing, we grew. It's always funny. I say we grew from boys to men because we did. I got to watch him tear his ACL our senior year. He was was that was out here. That was
Douglas County Stadium.
Douglas County Stadium. I saw that, and I saw him rebound from that, and then go off to Texas and rehab from that, and then I'm down in Nebraska playing, and he tears it again. So like, I didn't know what he was going through during that time frame. Like, we call him, and then he wasn't answering the phone during that time, but I was like, oh, maybe he's just rehabbing. But I had no idea what he was going through. And I want to kind of go back through memory lane. Like, what was your thought process? What was your feeling during that time to get you through that pain?
The mindset.
Yeah, and the determination, because I haven't gone through 3 ACLs.
In 5 years, right?
Man,
That's crazy, bro.
That's got to play on your mental tough.
Oh yeah, man. It was, probably the worst, stretch of my life. I got caught up in drugs, alcohol, partying. Just like, I thought this shit was over, man. There's a lot of talk around mental health right now, and that shit was 100% real back then. Just, how am I gonna figure out and how am I gonna make it through this time of my life? This is a major storm. Do I even want to live?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Real talk.
Right.
So I guess having that support system is good. Having your homeboys like Kurt, good family, that type of stuff. I always talk about, cannabis was a good part of that too. Like I was taking hella pills, painkillers and all that stuff, and it was always making me sick and stuff like that. So, that's kind of when cannabis became a real important part of my life.
Right.
And so, I wasn't supposed to be doing that.
Right.
My coaches and family, they were pretty pissed off that I was, smoking weed and stuff like that. And it absolutely wasn't something that, they supported and stuff like that. And I almost ruined my football career over that. But they didn't know that I was, treating and coping, with my situation. That was helping me, at least have a glimpse of hope of, coming back and bouncing back because, alcohol was fucking me up. Pills were fucking me up. Right. This shit was like, I'm in a dark spot, dog.
Right.
So it was just to look back at that moment and realize, like, damn, how did you do that?
Right.
Because I really think the moment that really changed for me was when I came home. I'm getting ready to flunk out of school, man, because I didn't go to class that whole last semester the third time. I'm getting ready to flunk out of school, man. I just remember coming home and, my parents had got my report card, and I just see, like, man, they sick, dog. They about to fail out of school. You about to waste this opportunity to graduate from a Division I school, University of Texas. It's bigger than football. And just seeing that disappointment on their face,
Right.
it was like a light just switched on. It's like, damn, like my dad and my mom, they working, full-time jobs, overtime, just to make sure me and my sister are straight, like most parents, they going hard for their kids.
Right.
And so I'm out here, feeling sorry for myself and, rightfully so.
Right.
But I just had to turn it back on. And, miraculously, not rehabbing that whole time, and I came back from Christmas break and my knee was just like better. And I guess my body really just needed the break.
Right.
And so I just came back and I jumped right back in there like I never left. I was healed up and, I got back to working out and got in shape. And then once I got back on the field, it was like, reteaching, yourself how to do everything again. And I wasn't the same player at all.
Okay.
I'm not as fast as I was. I'm not as strong as I was. So, like, my mental game had to go to another level. So now I'm a smarter player. Like, how do I get open when I'm not as fast as I used to be, when I can't just run by people anymore? So it really made me and forced me to elevate my game in a different level, which was mentally. I'm thinking about how I'm about to get open on this dude now.
Right.
And it really made me a better player because it just allowed me just to polish my game as a receiver, as a blocker, and just as a playmaker out there. So, we don't know why things happen, but we look back and we realize why they happen. as we get older, and it's for a reason. And, that reason was obviously to, make me, see things differently and shape me as a different kind of player and make myself a better player in another area.
Right.
100%.
Wow. That's 100%.
That's awesome.
That's great to hear how you write. You write the shit. Yeah.
Now, who would you say your teammates? I got to meet several of your teammates, but who was your teammate that helped you cope with this the most, show you the light? Who was that guy that just said, you know what, he saw you working to get back to yourself, but pushed you over the edge?
Probably, Kyle Shanahan.
Okay.
Kyle Shanahan, my boy Chris Sims. They both had NFL pedigree and stuff, from their daddies. And so just hearing those positive affirmations and that, that support, like, man, just stick with it.
Right.
Let's get up, let's go work out. Kyle used to always tell me, you got to get your knees strong, dog.
Right.
You got to get your knees strong. So, he was always on my ass about that, even on the days I didn't want to do it.
Right.
And, so I'm in debt to him and a lot of reasons for that because, there was times where I didn't want to do that shit at all. And, like, he literally would drag me to workouts and, we out there doing cone drills, we out there running rounds and doing all this stuff, just me and him.
Right.
And he really helped me shape the work ethic that I needed to, bounce back and come back a better player and ultimately make it to the league. So, Sims was the same way. They just knew how to work hard. And, when you put, hard work behind talent, ain't no telling.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, ain't no telling what's going to happen. So,
right.
Those two guys in particular, were just always in my ear and just, very positive, models and people in my life, besides, guys like you and my family members.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree because that was a different time frame, man. I didn't know all this stuff was going on because I was playing during that same time he's playing, and he wouldn't. He'd let you a little bit in, but he wouldn't let you all the way in because he was just in a dark place. So.
Yeah, you don't want to let everyone know what you're dealing with, though. I mean, I think that's just natural. We're just trained to be tough dudes.
That's it.
So like, you don't want to. I didn't want to show no weakness, but shit, I'm dying inside, dog.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the black community doesn't believe in mental health. I mean,
facts.
You know what I mean? My dad, shoot, my mom too. She's like, get up and get over it.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean, just get? You're right. I don't got no feelings. Let's just go. You're right. I ain't got no feelings. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna go in my room and cry.
That's sometimes what you need to do.
That's what you got to do sometimes.
Cry it out, dog.
Yep. You gotta let it go.
Got to.
Go.
And you got to have people to talk to, right? It's about having that outlet, that real true support system like you talked about, having those real people in your corner. Because that makes a world of difference. So, yeah, and I'm in the training to get back, I'm sure, you have to learn how to trust your body again too, right? And making those cuts and pushing yourself to those limits.
That's the biggest part, is just overcoming that fear.
Yeah.
And I see so many guys that struggle with that. I think the most recent thing is, some of the guys from the Broncos reached out to me to talk to the tight end Booth, the one from Michigan. He's not here anymore, but he had tore his ACL a couple times, and that was his thing. He couldn't get over that mental hurdle when he got back on the field. It's just hard to get over that mental hurdle.
Right.
And I hear stories all the time, man. Like, hey, I tore my ACL, man. My career was over after that. Just one time,
Right.
So it just shows you how detrimental it is, that trauma, or when people come through crisis, how it's just hard to bounce back and get over those mental hurdles that you're thrown with, in adversity.
Right.
But I tell all these young dudes, because a lot of my coaches, to this day, they call me all the time when these young kids are going through that, and I just tell them, dog, like, this shit gonna make you a beast mentally.
Right.
Like, if you just push through this stuff, it's gonna make you a beast mentally. And that's how I feel right now about myself. Like, ain't shit I feel like I can't do.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Having persevered and driven through that, it's still unstoppable.
What do I got to lose?
So yeah, you always push through that adversity. Was it always still kind of in the back of your mind a little bit though?
Yeah, going on to the league and all that. Like, did that ever come up?
A couple times, and I, your body's always beat up and banged up playing football.
Right.
So I was fortunate enough the first couple years in the league to, really not have any serious injuries, even though I came into the league with a sports hernia. So that was, that sucked, but nothing real serious. But yeah, you're always dealing with that. And as an athlete, if you don't feel 100%, it definitely messes with you, especially when you're out there on the game and, you know, you feel like, oh, my hamstring's a little sore today or my shoulder's a little sore or something's bothering you or boomed up, you know, and that's, you know, why they're shooting dudes up with shit, you know, because, you know, when they shoot you up with something, I mean, there's always a line before a game for this prescription called Toradol. It's like and you know, a guy, you can take a pill, take a shot. You know, guys lined up to take this shot in the butt, and it's to knock this edge off. Right. So you just aren't feeling shit when you're out there.
Damn.
You know, and I mean the shit works. I can't lie, the shit works. So I mean, I'm taking that shit every game. If I gotta take it during the week, I'm taking it during the week.
Right.
Just to, you know, feel good. And that's your job, you know, as a professional athlete, to be available, stuff like that. And the players that are available are the ones that most be successful. Like, you know, they always talk about how Parcells say you ain't gonna make the club in the tub. That was his whole little thing. You know, so you got to find a way to push through. And it's kind of a messed up mentality because, you know, sometimes guys have serious injuries and they're out there too fast and they're making stuff worse. So it's kind of like finding that balance of like, damn, are you really hurt or are you injured? You know, and it's like it's almost like a mind fuck. Like, because you're a young dude at that time. Like, you know, these are grown ass men, your coaches and people trying to push you to be out there. And you're like trying to make the best decision for yourself, but you're also trying to be a good teammate. And be available for your guys and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a lot of pressure. You know, as a young athlete, like what's the best thing for me at that time? And we don't always make those best decisions, and we don't always have the people in the corner to do that. So, you know, that's a lot of things that guys struggle with.
You gotta have trust in the staff too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, that's what you would think.
You would hope.
That's what you're supposed to. I mean, you know, the staff is great, never knocking anybody. I met some great guys on all the organizations that I played for, but, you know, they're employees of the team just like we are.
Right.
So, you know, like, I'm sure they have meetings without the players and, you know, things are being said, what we need to get this guy to or how we, you know, when we need to have him available and those type of things. So I'm sure they're kind of pushing or pulling, you know, certain things just to make sure they get guys out there. And so, you know, you'll see some cases where, you know, guys will sign injury settlements and those type of things. Sure. So it's such a business at that level. And even at the college level, you know, it's so tough for those young guys because, you know, they got this dream that they're holding on to and they're fighting for so much. And they're trying to make the best decision for them. But, you know, they don't always have the people around them don't always have the best intentions for them. So
yeah, their best interest is
tough.
definitely not there.
And like you said, it's a job, right? So if you don't show up and you can't be out there, you can't play.
Well,
you're
I was
at risk
labeled
of losing your job, right?
I was labeled damaged goods. I was labeled injury prone. Like when I went to the combine, like this dude, I got all the red flags.
I was gonna say, how that affect your draft, like in that experience for you?
I mean, first of all, I lied on my injury list. Not knowing, I just didn't know what they was gonna do was there. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I took my ACL twice, but you know they got all this stuff, so I didn't know. So when I get to the combine, and you know the first day is just kind of like testing stuff, right? And I'm just honored to be there. First of all, like you know, my mom was one of those moms that used to look up stats and all that stuff and rankings and stuff. So I mean, I'm sure she was surprised that I made it. She's like, "You're the 33rd tight end, ranked tight end." You know, going to your last year. Right. You know, I'm like, that shit don't mean nothing, Mom. Right. I don't even know who these dudes are. Right. And I practice against better dudes every single day. So, you know, like you got to kind of just block out that noise. But, you know, getting to the combine, you know, you fill out all these information sheets and stuff like that. So, like I said, I'm happy to even be going there. But I lied on my injury list, and so when you get there, you know you got to take all these tests and you go take MRIs and see all these doctors, and they literally got me on the table like I'm a rag doll, dog. Like I got my legs up, like what's this scar? What's this scar? What happened here? And I gotta, you know, I can't lie at that point, like. You know, and the crazy thing about it was I had a sports hernia then, so I had not ran 140 at all. But they didn't know shit about that. All they cared about was, all right, he got all these ACLs. Right. So, you know, there's 6 teams in each room. So by the time I got to the last room, I finally see the Broncos doctors, which thank God those are the guys that fixed me up. So I'm like, man, I walked in there, I get them a big ass hug, like, hey man, tell these dudes, like, you know, tell these dudes I'm straight, man.
That's right. That's right.
Was that Dr. Slagle?
Yeah, Dr. Slagle and them. So, you know, shout out Stedman Hawkins and them. But and I had to work out, so I had not ran at all. But I'm labeled injury prone, and I had not ran 140. You know, Lauren Landau, he was the strength and performance coach for the Broncos. Now we worked out every day at Inverness in the pool. Yep. that's how bad this dude is. He got me, getting ready to run my 40, and we didn't run 140, but we were training in the pool. And so when I lined up to run the 40, because I had to run it, I had to work out there. I couldn't be like, man, I'll see y'all at my pro day.
Right.
When they already got all these red flags, and I had to work out. And so at the combine, this is the old combine in the RCA Dome.
Okay.
And at the starting line is, in the stands is right here, they still have Jerry Jones, Parcells, they're sitting right there at the starting line. So this is already nerve-wracking right here. You walk to the starting line, you see Jerry, you see Parcells, some of the other coaches, like the big name guys, stuff like that. But you gotta, this is the run for your life.
Right. Yep.
You gotta, if you had anything in you, this is the time to muster it up right now.
Right.
And so that's what I did. So, I found a way to, run a 40. I ran like a 4.7 something, low 4.8 with a torn, like ab muscle torn growing.
Right.
And they had no idea about it, right? Just only I knew and only Lauren knew. And I ended up having a great workout. I'm going to kill all the position drills and stuff like that when it comes to running routes and catching the ball. I mean, that shit's, I do that shit in my sleep. But, just the amount of pressure that, the guys are under, and they make the combine, it's meant to be stressful.
Right.
It's meant to test you
see
mentally.
how you handle it.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to give you millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, we got to see what kind of dudes we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. It's an interview session.
They always say it's the biggest interview of your life.
Right.
So, there was just all these stops in my life and just kind of during my career where I was in these high pressure situations, and I just had to rise up, dog.
That's it.
That's why I say, just got to be a beast mentally when it comes to, the things that you want and the things that you care about.
Right. Those two ACL tears, that was your biggest interview. When you brought that, when you had to come back from that, that situation that you just went through was almost nothing. You'd already been through so much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Your mind was mentally prepped for, you know what? I've already been through two knee surgeries, 2 ACL surgeries, and then you're going to go do this. You performed. You've always performed.
The other thing is the chatter, too. It's hard as a young dude to block that shit out. And this is before social media and stuff like that.
Ask you about that.
So, I got people at home, people I know, they tell me, why is Bo still playing? Like, he ain't going to make it. So,
Remember those conversations.
You just take all this noise, man, and like I said, you just muster it up, man. You put it in your back pocket and, like, obviously, this is not about proving everybody else wrong, but proving yourself right.
Right.
There was a piece of me like, I'm about to prove all y'all wrong. And like, shit, don't come try to chill with me when this shit pops off, because it's going to pop off.
Right.
Just use that
I respect
motivation.
that, man.
Use that
That's
motivation.
Good shit.
That's right.
And then, in talking with injuries, I don't want to get too off topic, but we've recently been talking about all within the league and all the concussion protocols, all this new focus that they're putting on concussions and all that. What's your take on everything revolving around that? I think it correlates as well with like the players wanting to push. They want to be out there. They want to be available. They're fighting for their jobs. They're fighting for their livelihood, for their family. These contracts, all these pressures on them. The staff may not necessarily have their best interests at heart. Like, what do you do? How do you fix that?
You gotta protect the guys from themselves in a lot of these cases. I mean, and concussions are real. Like, let's just be real. I mean, I'm sure everyone here in this has been concussed. They might not know that, but they have. I mean, if you've seen stars, you've been concussed. If you hit your head on a window or a wall, someone that you probably was concussed.
Right.
So I mean, I can, I've blacked out a couple of times. I know there's a few licks I took where, I got up and I seen the little stars like you see on the cartoons around your head and stuff like that. So, it's real. It is definitely real, and I'm glad the NFL is kind of, taking the stance, and they need to, because, I got friends and, dudes I play with and against, who've ended their life, over this shit, and it's really affected them, and, they didn't know, and, the people who suffer the most are their families, because, they're the ones that have to deal with all this stuff. They're the ones that have to deal with all these guys and these symptoms that these guys have. I mean, bro, Junior Seau is the nicest person I've ever met, dog.
Right.
This dude shoots himself in the chest.
Right.
How? So,
Ew.
I was doing an interview a couple of days ago, and this neurologist was talking about there's not a whole lot of evidence of CTE, and then you look up CTE and it says repeatedly hits or hits to the head, repeatedly head trauma. That's the evidence.
That's the evidence right there.
Like, okay,
That's the
if you keep hitting your head, which in football you're doing it at practice, you're doing it in the game, you're doing it every single day. So, I mean, the evidence is there, and there's just not enough I guess maybe they don't want to, put all the information down there because let's be real, man. Like NFL is king, dog.
Yeah.
Like this football shit is so big. I seen something the other day. It's the number one sport in the world, and the next one is soccer, Euro soccer, but it's 3 times less
Right.
than
Holy shit.
what the league is. So the league is like 10, 12 billion. Soccer is like 6 billion of what it produces. And this is not even a world sport.
Right, soccer is a world sport.
Yeah, soccer is a world sport.
Right. Damn.
Do you think the game's changed a lot from when you played?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It had to. I mean, it's a violent game, and I'm so thankful now that I just kind of got a grasp on my life and just my mental stuff because when I was younger, man, I was definitely an angry dude, and football kind of makes you angry. It's a violent sport, know. So I'm quick to pop off and snap on people and stuff like that, family, friends. So they always were on the receiving end of some of that stuff and some of that anger. So it's hard for them to change the game and take some of those hits, but I'm glad they're trying. I love to at least acknowledge and say that I played in that that real physical era.
Yeah.
Which you got to be a badass dude to play against Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and
Especially going across the middle.
Wait a minute.
Right. You got a lot of respect from all of us. for that
So
shit.
tell us this. Tell us about when you played against Ray Lewis.
Ray. Those are moments that you dream of, honestly.
Right.
You like, damn, you go from playing and winning on Madden,
Right.
to actually lining up against him. And, Ray was his presence is definitely I don't want to say scary, because you're not really scared out there, but it's, it's noticeable, it can be intimidating to people.
Right.
You got a big ass black dark visor. He got this crazy face mask. He's out there, yelling and running around, and he's, he's making calls. He's talking to his guys and stuff like that. And I mean, there's other guys like Ray. B. Doc was like that.
Right.
Ed Reed. There's Bob Sanders. There's just so many guys out there like who are really, out there trying to punish you on the defensive side. And I was never that guy that talked a lot of shit to the defense because defense is a lot different than offense. I mean, you can literally take a play off on defense if the ball's going the other way and just go clean somebody up.
Right.
Offense got to work in unison and harmony.
Right.
So, like, I got to be looking at where my guys are at and how to help my tackle or, where I'm running my route at. Where, this safety, he just looking at me the whole time. I'm about to go mop him up. Keep coming through. And so it always pisses me off when I see them out there, they flexing after you hit some. Bro, he's not looking.
Right.
Right.
He didn't even know you were coming.
You can blame the Gronk when he's not looking, but what about when Gronk gets the ball and he's faced up with you?
Right.
You're not going to hit him like that.
No.
Right.
So
He gonna put that shoulder down. and
yeah,
run
he
through.
gonna put that shoulder down. So it's a violent sport, but it's so fun, man. Like football, just the emotions that you're allowed to display. I mean, there's nothing like it, man. You can sing, you can dance, you can talk shit, man. Just think about if you can go to work, dog, and you can talk shit to the people that you're working with every single day, and just be high energy and be like,
It doesn't work that way.
yeah, it don't work that way.
You mean out loud, right?
Yeah, out loud. And if you had a problem with one of your coworkers, like, all right, we about to address this right now.
Right.
Right.
Like that's what I love about the locker room is like it's gonna get handled.
Right.
Oh, no question.
There's no real HR department.
Yeah, that is the HR.
That's
That is the
it.
HR.
Your own HR. I like that.
File your own complaints.
That's it.
So speaking of locker rooms, so what would you say the Denver Broncos' main issue is right now?
Leadership. And we're all Denver guys, man. We we support the home team and stuff like that. And there was so much excitement this year about them being a successful team and competing at a high level in the AFC West and hopefully making the playoffs. And it just an account and a test to how hard it is to win too, no matter who you got on your squad. Because on paper in the preseason before Tim Patrick got hurt, like we got the top 5 squad in the league. Easy. Like, we about to score 30 points a game. Right. Our defense is going to hold people under, 15, 16, 17 points.
They're actually doing that.
Yeah, and they are. But, it just for some reason they haven't figured it out and put it together, man. And, the coach has a lot to do with that. It's a tough position, but at the same time, they pay you, a whole lot of money. So, like, we ain't trying to hear all those excuses. And your job as leader is to get guys buy in. I've been to a few practices and, I really observe, the coaches and stuff like that, because I got friends that are coaches and stuff like that. So, I think his biggest issue when he first came in is he was trying so hard to just be liked by everybody.
Be friends with everybody.
He's a coach's guy. Rated. Listen, that's who you want to play for, guys like him.
Yep.
But I tell people this all the time. The difference between one thing that I love and respect about Kyle is Kyle's a coach's guy too.
Right.
But Kyle don't play that shit, and he gonna make sure that his team is ready to play. That's priority.
Right.
Over being like friends with all the guys.
Right.
Like he's gonna be friends with all the guys, but he's gonna shoot you straight. But he's gonna make sure that we're ready to play. And that's what you gotta put as priority, especially when you're a new coach coming in. You gotta show your guys like, listen, I'm gonna put you guys in a successful situation every time we step on the field.
And earn the respect, like right off the bat.
That's the respect, though. That's where the respect comes from. Like,
100%.
damn, coach, like that's a good ass game plan. Like, damn, everything you said, coach, happened.
Right. Then they believe it.
They believe it.
You living it now.
Then they buy in.
I just need you to trust me, because as a coach, you stand in front of all those guys. Like, all you need to tell them is like, listen, just trust me and the coaches. We're gonna have y'all right. All I need you to do is fly around out there and just listen to what we say, follow the calls, and just go out there and play ball.
It does show.
And they don't do that. They're just not on the same page. And it sucks that everyone's blaming Russ. Russ is definitely a company man, but that's cool. I mean, listen, this is what all these coaches tell all of us to be our whole life. What Russ is.
Right.
A team guy, come up early, stay late, stuff like that.
Right.
He got the little star power now, stuff like that, but he earned that.
Right.
You can't tell him to dial that shit back when he already won 2 Super Bowls. He's thinking about life after football, but you can't sit here and say he ain't coming out here and working hard. Right. He flew his whole team to where they were practicing at, and if they would have came out and started out 3-0 or 4-1 or stuff like that, ain't no one saying nothing about that.
Right.
Whole different narrative.
It's a good point.
Losing just magnifies everything. So when you're losing, you're gonna find something to pick at.
Yep,
so it's hard even being on Twitter and just seeing all the shit talking that people be saying about Russ, but at the end of the day, Russ still been to 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
That's why they paid him all that money, because he got the track record. And people are always so hard on the guys about how much money they make. Listen, dog, if you one of the best in the world at what you do, you're gonna get paid handsomely.
That's it.
And you guys give up your life. You were putting your longevity of your life out there.
Yep.
On a daily basis.
Yep. And you don't get to raise your kids and be around your families and stuff like that.
You give up so much. Mm-hmm. You deserve to be compensated.
Sure.
Tom Brady just gave up his marriage.
Gave it up.
That's true. That's true.
So we're shifting. Let's shift a whole different direction, because we went down somewhere. Let's get into what you're doing now, right?
Yeah, talk to us about All Pro Farm.
And how did everything come into place? Where'd you get where you at?
How did we get from what was our drug? Was it Toradol? Toradol. So Toradol, did that inspire you to get into the cannabis game?
Kind of as I mentioned earlier, cannabis has always kind of shown up in a part of my life. And, my career ended with a neck injury.
Okay.
So I really remember just, being back in that same black hole again. And, I had neck injury. I got a big scar right here. Peyton Manning, we had surgery 1 week apart.
Wow.
Same doctor. So, Peyton went on to, go make a lot more money and win a Super Bowl with the Broncos, but went home to be depressed and cry in his room in the dark. So, the retiring and once the lights is off, man, it's a tough fall, dog. It's a tough fall, man. And I just, I remember going to church one time, after I retired and got done playing, and this guy was there preaching, and he had this book, and it said "Doing Right in the Wrong World." And I don't know what touched me that day, but I went and got this book, man. And I've never read a whole book in my whole life. Like at this point in my life, I'm 30-something years old. No, I never read a book, cover to cover.
Right.
And so I read this book, man. I just, whatever it was saying in there just totally resonated with me, man. And just, they always talk about that dopamine and how it just starts working in your body when, when you're winning or when you're learning something new and stuff like that. So I started feeling that stuff, man.
Right.
And decided to go to business school, and which was really, really cool. George Washington had this program for celebs and, and athletes. So it was cool.
Right.
This
is an NFL program?
It was a program that George Washington was doing, but it was for like former athletes and celebs.
I like it.
So, I mean, shit, I went in there with my boy Key Bullock. He taught me to go in there. It cost $100K. So I mean, there was no part of me that wanted to go back to school. Dog. Like I wasn't no school kid, bro. Can't lie to y'all. Like school was hard for me. I didn't like that shit at all. You know, but my parents was on my ass all the time about school, so I'm like, damn, all right, shit, let me go see if I can go back to school.
See what's
I respect that.
I said, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Big Daddy would be up at the school.
on
He'd
the
be
ass,
up in
man.
high school.
But I remember walking to class and walk in, I see my boy Key Bullock, I see Sean Merriman, I see, my boy Chester Pitts, Wale Gunle, all these like just badass dudes that I played with and against. And it's a really competitive atmosphere, and we really didn't like each other at the time. It's like, damn, like, I don't fuck with you.
Right.
So it was like real standoffish at first, but the one thing that I will say about when you're going to like get your masters and something or stuff like that, it's more predicated on what you're going to specialize in. So for me, it was like, okay, cool. Like this whole group was about being owners and being an entrepreneur and going to own your own shit. Like, okay, this isn't about going to work for Procter & Gamble. This is about going and creating Procter & Gamble.
Right.
So I was feeling that from that aspect.
Right.
Yeah, it's focused on what you're trying to do. You can apply it to what you're physically trying to do right now.
And I didn't mention this earlier, but I had a revelation when I was with the Patriots, and Robert Kraft was talking to us, and he's talking to the fans and the team, and like for the first time in my life, I was like, man, I really don't love this game anymore. I'm like, that's who I need to be.
Right.
Like, he built all this shit.
Right.
So this kind of happened before I went to business school. Like this the dude playing Gronk, playing Brady, all that. So this is what I need to do. He built all this shit. So, kind of helped me inspire to just to go down that road and stuff like that and learn. And when you go into a new arena, you got to kind of start, from scratch. And, when you've been at the top of the mountain and you've already achieved a dream, which, a lot of people are always talking about the guys, they fall off when they get done playing. But the reason why is they already achieved everything that they thought about they wanted to do.
Right.
That was my dream, to make it to the league.
Right.
To play with such and such and stuff like that. So when you're on the top of the mountain, you got to find something else you want to do, but it's on that other mountain over there.
There it is.
And you can't just jump from mountain to mountain. You got to go back down through the valley and then climb that shit again.
Right.
Which, to each their own. Some dudes willing to do, some dudes aren't.
Right.
I was willing to do that. So that transition, was definitely tough on me and stuff like that. But being able to go learn and just kind of rewire myself was what I needed to do. And my project in business school was a ball spray. It was called Be Fresh.
I got it upstairs.
Yeah, it was ball spray. And,
Got it upstairs.
I gave Kurt some samples. I gave my boy Key Bullet some samples, and I remember him trying that shit one time, dog. And he sprayed this shit, and he was like, "Dog, this shit hot right now. Like, this shit burning my shit. This shit burning my shit right now, dog." So you would have to go up in front of the class and give your 1 minute, 2 minute pitch, and like I can't really speak about ball spray. Like, okay, it has menthol in it. It comes in a 3.5 ounce container. Like, I don't really know about this shit. So. It was even though it was an amazing idea because you see all that shit out here right now. Like, that stuff, I was ahead of my time. Like, I just wasn't able to bring it to market.
You might have to bring that back.
Yeah. Bring it back. But I just feel like you go through these things on your path, and you get to where you're supposed to be. So it was. Going to business school, being an entrepreneur, trying different ventures and stuff like that brought me to be cannabis. And like cannabis is one thing that I've always been passionate about. And I always tell guys and just anyone, like, you got to go find and do stuff that you're passionate about because that's the only way you're going to be able to handle and endure the hardships or the adversities that come with that.
That's it.
Like if you're working at somewhere that you can't stand, and then it's going to be hard to get up every day, especially when shit get hard. Like, I'm not fucking with this. I don't like them. I don't even like being like that. So cannabis was something I liked. And then I started really reading up on the benefits of it and how it's helped me. And I'm like, man, like this stuff is me. This is me. Like I am weed. And it was tough at first because it's not accepted. Even to this day, we live in Colorado, but it's not cool. Right. To a lot of people. We live in Douglas County. This shit is not legal out here like that.
But everybody smokes.
They all smoke. And the majority of people are closet smokers. Let's just be real. The majority of people are closet smokers. So this was about, like, the cannabis was all about just my journey from the NFL, using the NFL as a launching pad to whatever else I was doing. And it took me a few years just to, find that spot. But I'm where I'm at now. And, for me, this project is just about, helping people take control of their mental health and, improve their quality of life through cannabis. So that's kind of how All Pro Farms got originated. I own 140 acres down in southern Colorado, and, I'm building out soon to be wellness resort, and we're launching our brand, and we're building new facilities where we can grow the best product. And that's what I love about it is it's really like the cycle of life. You plant a seed, you water it, you feed it, and it grows into this amazing plant, and then you harvest it, just like your dreams and your goals in life.
That's right.
So, I can't wait to, start bringing some of these big executives down there and really showing them how this plant works and how it's grown and stuff like that. And I really think, I get to, change the narrative of what we all kind of been taught from a young age. Because, my parents was not with that shit. I smoked out our limo at prom.
Sure did.
I was the one, I was the black sheep. They were like, all the parents is talking about both. Like, damn.
Y'all caught hell for that. Y'all caught hell for that shit.
My bad, dog.
So where can everybody find, All Pro Farms, your products? I know you got a merch site as well. Where can they locate your?
Well, I would love to be able to tell you that I could, send it to you no matter where you're at, but that is illegal.
Right. That's true.
So you got to come to Colorado, to sample this stuff. But, we're in probably about 10, 12 stores around Colorado, Simply Pure, Exclusive, Golden Meds, Mile High Dispensary. So we got a nice little list, and it's growing. We just launched a new store in the mountains called Roots RX.
Okay.
So, yeah, listen, I'm not selling nothing I ain't smoking.
Right. That's
So
it.
just so you know, if you're scared to try it, which I feel like everybody who had a bad experience with weed, the reason why was, they probably hit something that was too strong. We don't have any idea where the weed was that we were smoking. We were little.
That's true.
That shit came from a garage or somebody's basement.
Right.
It was not clean. It got us high as shit. And so, I could see why people are, scarred from it because they smoke some stuff they shouldn't have been smoking.
Yep.
Especially if you don't smoke, it's going to affect you a certain way. Just like if you don't drink and you get drunk for the first time, you're going to be sick probably.
Yep.
Yeah. Room's gonna be spinning.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. So is there different, I don't smoke, so.
But you have.
Yeah, back in the day. But is there, how far has it come? Is there different types of?
So was you smoking in the limo though?
No, I wasn't in the limo. We had 2 limos.
Yeah.
And I was in the other one.
They was in the heavy liquor limo.
We was in the-
Our shit was the heavy liquor and the weed limo.
He had everything, all the above. But Dad, you threw me off. So where was I going with this? Oh yeah, is there different types of strands? Is there different types of strands that do different things? How does that work?
There's every strand it has its own unique genetic and composition. This shit really is a science project almost.
Right.
So the best thing is all these products are made and it's kind of start from flour. You turn flour into oil, and that's how you make some of these other things. And you heat it up and you're just able to create all these super things. So it's such a new industry, and we really haven't really, scratched the surface yet. So, we're going to see as more states come on and more research and it gets more, acceptable to people, we're just going to see just so many more benefits and things that people can use cannabis for. If your wife suffers from, PMS and those type of things, they're going to be creating products for women and all those things. It's such a dynamic plant. It's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. So, to me, it's what are we talking about? And at the same time, it's a plant.
Right.
This is a plant, just like you put outside and you water and it's going to grow like any other plant. This is agriculture.
Right.
So the amount of demonizing that this stuff faces is just crazy to me. And, I went to Texas, they freak out about this shit,
Right.
man.
Oh yeah, they're major out there.
They're freaking
Because they're
out
right there
about
on the
it.
border, right?
Right.
So those border states are
But
tough on that.
you can
stuff.
get as fucked up as you want with guns.
Right.
Well,
With guns.
Right.
I think that's one of the things, right? Because it's a plant, anybody can plant it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the government has a great way to, wait a second, anybody can plant it. So you never have to worry about where it's going to come from as far as the government. They can control alcohol, they control guns, they control all of that
But that stuff, those two things you just mentioned, kill people.
Right.
all the time.
Those things kill people. For guys to have lost their life, or who are locked up in prison for selling weed or consuming weed or just having it on you, like it's baffling. Like these dudes ain't hurting nobody,
Right.
but they're locked up in in prison with real killers.
Yes.
With real people who have done like violent stuff to people, and all they was just trying to do was just, relax. And the black community always used to call it like, stress. It was like a nickname for weed. Like, oh man, you got that stress. I need that stress. And it's because like I never kind of put those things together. But it's like, all right, maybe growing up in the hood or growing up in poverty and stuff like that, whether you're white or black, is stressful.
Yep.
Right.
So people were already consuming this stuff to like for the relief,
Right.
for the depression and the stress that they were dealing with. Yeah, just to help them. Like, it's therapeutic.
Right.
And I use that word therapeutic because that's exactly what it is. Like, it makes you smile. It changes your mood. It makes you feel better. It calms you down. It helps you sleep.
Right.
So people who are angry or people who, need to just take a minute and breathe, like cannabis helps you do that. So, to deny them that and then push them towards, prescriptions that's going to mess opioids, to push them towards alcohol, which is antidepressant, and you do crazy shit on. And the reason why, listen, we know alcohol is bad is because you feel like shit the next day. That's your body telling you right there, like, this ain't that good for you, man. I don't like it.
Right.
But we still do it.
Right.
So, it's just crazy, man, just how far it's, away we are to really just bringing this to the level that it needs to be and just allowing people just to have access to it and treating it like some of the other commodities that we have out there and have access to.
Yeah, and like you said, all the drugs they pushing people to, all the side effects. You got the opiates, and the fentanyl, epidemics going on. Kids are out
That
here,
shit breaks
kids
up
out here
families,
dying.
man.
Yeah.
Kids out here dying,
Exactly.
dying left and right off this shit. And it's funny to see that stark contrast and hey, well, we want to push them towards these things when it's like, hey, you got this right here
Yep.
that can solve all these plethora of problems, but you're creating more issues by pushing it this way.
That's how you know it's a bigger agenda than that. Than just like giving
business,
people what
right?
they need. Yeah, if I'm a pharmaceutical person or a doctor, I don't want something else to come and ruin, my cash flow,
Right.
Or put a damp in my revenue stream or something like that. So that's
It's
kind of
big
what it's all
pharma for
about.
a reason.
Yeah, it's big pharma. So this is what has fed people's families for years and years and years. So just to stop it or change it up, I'm sure people are. That's why I think a lot of people are opposed to it. But I hear more and more doctors are pushing people, especially older people, towards cannabis.
How far do you think the NFL is away from looking at cannabis in a different light? Because that Toradol or whatever you're talking about it is, that's just, that's tearing your body up. That's tearing your mind up because at some point you're playing, you feel like everything's fine and it's not fine.
Yeah.
So you're tearing somebody's body up. So how far do you think the NFL is away from looking at weed or cannabis in a different light?
They're getting closer and closer. I think they stopped suspending guys for it. Just look at a guy like Josh Gordon.
Right.
He ain't hurt nobody at all, man.
Right.
He was trying to deal whatever he was trying to deal with, so he smoked. And all right, they're saying he can't. But the coach who just got, the DUI, he's gonna be back on the sidelines real soon.
Right.
Jim Irsay, he got caught with all these pills and all that stuff. He's right back where he needs to be.
Right.
So the criticism that it takes and that comes with it is messed up. Plus, the majority of cannabis consumers are white and black males.
Right.
So, that's what the league is.
Right.
So
they don't have to come to something.
Yeah, this is what, and, there's plenty of coaches, I won't name them, but they've always told me they'd rather their guys be out at home smoking, chilling, than be out in the streets, drinking and stuff like that.
Right.
So you see what comes with that drinking and the late night stuff.
Coaches are aware of it. Come on, this is $1 billion organization. You trying to tell me they don't know about this stuff?
Right.
I'm sure that a lot of the coaches smoke.
Right.
A lot of them smoke because it's a stressful ass job, dog.
Right.
And
they're not getting tested.
Right. But if you're getting fucked up, you're gonna come into work the next day, and it's gonna be hard for you to focus on what you need to do because you're hungover.
That's it. That's it. You're 100% right.
You just talked me into wanting to smoke right now.
Well, what's up, man? We can fire it up.
Holy shit. Everything you said is spot on.
He hit it right on the head, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, I guess we're going to try to wrap things up. Let us know a signing off deal. What is the one thing that you want to sign us off with?
You can shout somebody out.
Shout somebody out. You want to?
Man, I'm just gonna shout out y'all, man. Congratulations on launching this. It's not easy. Everyone thinks people can just get up every day and just set up a microphone and just talk into it. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes during the show, production wise, pre and post production. So, starting a podcast and being consistent with it is not an easy task. So, I commend y'all to do that.
Thank you.
It's a marathon. So,
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all having me. Hopefully, this is one of many times that I get to start coming on. I want to be the honorary B guy. So
Let's go.
Start bringing me on a little more, man.
For sure. Now that we got a nice even flow, we definitely gonna get you on. There's another B out
Definitely
there.
good on the mic too.
There's another B out there looking for you.
Yeah.
Little Alexi. She's looking for you.
You better tell her to get in line, boy.
All right.
To get in line, she better have her money right. You know what I'm saying? We don't want like the girls just say, I don't want no scrubs.
Right.
Nah, I don't want no scrubs neither.
That's right.
Perfect. All right, man. Thank you so much for coming out, bro.
Appreciate y'all boys, man.
You the man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate
Thanks,
it.
bro.
No doubt.
You guys like, subscribe, do what you need to do. 4Bs. We out.
I done fell off in this game and it's holiday. Everybody that's around me wanna bury me, but I'ma keep on getting mine long as I can breathe. I'm on 2 feet for the family till I gotta leave. I done fell off in this game and it's holiday. Everybody that's around me wanna bury me, but I'ma keep on getting mine long as I can breathe. I'm on 2 feet for the family till I gotta leave. Life done knocked me on my feet, but I ain't skipped a beat.